Alright, welcome back. This is MDawg, and I'm going to start this video. You know, it's so weird. I've just noticed that when I'm not clicked on OBS, the recording time isn't moving forward, and then if I click back onto OBS, it shows me how long I've been recording. I don't know, it's very strange. So, one of the reasons why I'm having technical difficulties here is because it looks like my mic levels might be really high as well. So let's turn those down. Let's turn all the volume down of everything. Hopefully we're going to figure this out. I guess I'm going to have to watch this video and make sure it's at least decent before I post it. Yeah, for some reason, and I don't know how to fix that, but for some reason that's not working like it used to. So what happened to me last night is, I will eventually get to what video we're doing right now, but last night I was making this very video, the video that we're about to work on now. In fact, I finished the video and I was starting to upload the video so that it could go to YouTube, and I got a blue screen crash on my computer. It would not reboot. It always went back to the blue screen. I guess I've heard about the blue screen of death on PCs, and I experienced it last night for the first time. And sure enough, my SSD drive that Windows was installed on had crashed and was beyond repair. Thankfully, the guy that has a little shop here locally where I live was available, and I was able to get up and running again by the end of the day, within one day, which blew my mind. I was afraid it was going to be like a week or something. So it was just kind of crushing that I didn't get the video. It's been a long day anyway, and it's been a long night of trying to get everything reinstalled. And all of my settings weren't saved because, you know, hard drive is gone. So anyway, I hope that I am recording this video in such a way that it's going to be watchable and enjoyable, because I've got a fun video to make, although we're making it for the second time, so I don't know if I can, like, muster the passion that I had the first time. All right, so let's talk about the video we're making today. That we're making right now. It is going to be about a 7th anniversary reel. Okay, I'm going to be using a 7th anniversary reel. And if you don't know, right now the 7th anniversary is going on, the celebration of 7 years of Russian Fishing 4. And as a part of that, in the store, there are some reels that you can purchase for real money, for actual, like, money. In this case, gold, which the only way to get gold is to purchase it with real money. And all of these reels are, I think this is correct, versions of current reels. Just they have a celebratory new skin on them in accordance with the 7th anniversary that's going on. So, for example, you know, the Beluga Narga here, this is actually one of my least favorite skins, sort of looking at all of them. It's fine. I think this one looks pretty cool, the Everest 24. I haven't used an Everest reel in a long time, though. This is one I like. As far as the spinning reels go, this is probably my favorite of the different spinning reels. But that's because I've really been using the Blue Azimuth lately, the 6000, and it's just been really cool. But I would say my 3 favorite, in terms of skins, would be, so number 3, we'll start from the bottom, work to the top. Number 3 is the Zyman Phantom Super, this one in particular. I just think that looks really slick. I like the way those colors look. Number 2 is the Rocket Jet, this one in particular, the SG-80 7 years. Again, I just really like how slick that is. To me, that skin is pretty amazing. Now, I'm not going to tell you my favorite one because that would give something away that if you're sharp and you see what I'm about to start talking about, it's not like you're not going to figure it out pretty quick. But I have a video, and if I remember, I will link the video either at the end of this video or maybe even down in the description. I have a video where I go over all of the, in my mind, conventional reels that you should consider when coming to Norway early on. So like budget friendly, I mean they're still expensive, but for Norway, like affordable, approachable, efficient reels. And when I first came to Norway, the first setup that I might have used, and did use some, was the Ocean Queen. See, I've even got a fresh install of RF4. It keeps popping up all the tutorials, and I'm getting music in the background, which I haven't heard the music in so long I forgot what it sounded like. It's actually been trippy to hear the music again. This was the first setup I would have used, although I would have also had the Venga on it some, and I tried some different reels, but I had the Taiga C before Norway even came out. So the Taiga C was the first conventional reel that's like a fairly budget-friendly, approachable conventional reel that I used. And then the second one, and if you've watched my stream a lot, you'll know, and my favorite has been the Regal 22S. And so I did a video, a general video about what to think about when you're first coming to Norway. And I've also done a video comparing just those two reels in particular, the Regal 22S and the Taiga C. The ultimate conclusion that I came to is for Norway, I prefer the Regal 22S. In general, in terms of flexibility, the Taiga C30 is a little more flexible because you can fish for catfish for reasons that I won't get into here, but if it's for general use across lots of maps, there are reasons to consider the Taiga C30. But if it's for specifically Norway, my preference is the Regal 22S. And the main reason for that, the Regal 22S is a little cheaper. It comes in at 8,700 silver versus almost 10,500 for the Taiga C30. And it's got a little bit more strength in the rated drag. But the main reason is the double gear ratio that the Regal 22S has. So that's why, for me, the Regal 22S wins in the competition between these two reels as like approachable reels to use, conventional reels to use on the Norwegian Sea. So does that give it away? Do you know the 7th anniversary reel that I'm going to be able to use today? I could say for the first time, but that's not exactly true because it's technically the second time since I recorded this same content last night before my computer completely died. Well, let's go take a look at the conventional reel that's the 7th anniversary reel I'm going to be using. But first, let me also say, though, I want to be clear. RF4 very kindly, I think as a thank you for the content that I've made over the years and continue to make, trying to help new players, leveling guides, the community that we have on Twitch that hopefully is new player friendly, and bringing in new people to the game. As a thank you, over the past, this has probably been going on for maybe 9 months now, RF4, a couple of the administrators for RF4 have been just sort of allowing me to do some things like, for example, they've been providing premium, and I try to be upfront about all this because I don't want it to be like weird or anything. And then the other thing they've done is every once in a while they've like given me equipment to try and to give away. So if you were around maybe 9 months ago or whatever, soon after Norway came out, I was given a reel, the Reef Borealica 30DS. But I wasn't just given one of them, I was given 2 of them. And so I was able to use one, and then I did a giveaway on YouTube. That giveaway was actually on YouTube. Most of my giveaways have been on Twitch, but that one was on YouTube. So they have, anyway, so they are in a sense allowing me to use this 7th anniversary reel. And it's, I'm just very blessed. I'm very grateful that they allow me to do stuff like this. And I had told them, like, I want to make a video using it. And they were like, you know, that's awesome. Here's the reel. Go forth and do good things. So, so there's the reel. And it is, in fact, hopefully you have figured it out, the 7th anniversary Taiga C. Now, the reason why I've been so fascinated with this reel and was so excited when I saw it, this was immediately the 7th anniversary reel that I was like, okay, I'm either going to buy it myself, or if RF4 is willing, I'm going to ask if they would let me do some content with that reel in particular. Because the Regal 22S is already my favorite, and like I told you before, the main reason is that double gear ratio. Well, sure enough, this Taiga C30 Anniversary Edition, for the first time, a Taiga C30 has a second gear ratio. I think that is so cool. Like, and that's like a sneaky little change that they've put into place. And the reason why I don't think people are going to feel like that's, I don't know. I mean, for the most part, you want these gold-only reels, you want them to really be not better than their silver-only counterpart. And I guess what I would say is, in this case, it is a little better because it has that double gear ratio, and I think that's really important and valuable when you're fishing in Norway. But I guess what you could say is you do have the Regal 22S, which is an amazing reel. It's pretty much the same thing as this, except it's actually a little cheaper, a little stronger, but it doesn't have as high a mech weight, which is why the Taiga C30 is better if you're trying to go for catfish, fishing in other places. So there are some reasons why that's why this is a better reel. All right, so let's throw this back on, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out to the sea, and we'll probably just go out to the 34-meter hole. And I want to use all 3 of these setups, and as we're fishing with them, I will show you them, and we'll be talking about them more. We might even make some adjustments. We'll see how they do. But I thought we could do a little fishing. We'll catch a few fish on each of the setups, but we'll especially focus on the Taiga C30 7th Anniversary Edition. All right, I'll see you out at the 34-meter bank. All right, we are almost out to the 34 bank here. Oh, that's so weird. Now OBS is working. Now it's showing the time that I'm recording. I don't know. Boy, I hope this turns out okay. I really do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start up with, you notice it's like 11:17 in the morning. So we're actually going to start with the Taiga C, the old version. And we have a setup on that one that will probably catch a lot of smaller stuff. It's got like shrimp and stuff on the drop. I've tried to like make 3 different setups just to kind of give you an idea in case this is the first time you're watching somebody fish at the 34-meter bank or at Norway, or just in case you want to see some different setups that are working these days. I'm going to really switch it up and kind of throw you 3 different good approaches to 34. They're all similar in some ways, but you'll just see some different lure options and such. We've got 2 pilker rigs and 1 jigging rig. Jigging rigs I tend to do overnight, so if we fish long enough to get to the overnight hours, that's probably when I'll break that one out. But let's go ahead and start with the Taiga C30. We're going to be using the Lurker 103. Actually, let's just go ahead and cast it out because we might as well be letting it drop while we're talking here. Oh, happy hour. That's interesting. Lurker 103. We've got a 5.0 hook, so we're looking for a little bit bigger than usual up top, maybe. Fire green stick, Octopus 908. So this really slows it down, which helps catch small fish at bottom, to be honest. A small fillet safe. And then natural shrimp 7.505. The real shrimp 6.503, and the natural shrimp 7.503. So it looks like at around 20-meter depth while it was dropping, we did get a fish on. And this should happen a decent amount, especially in the middle of the day like this, where we actually catch a fish on the drop. And there's a sorry. Unfortunately, it is a non-marker. And one thing you can do if you really want to lean into the smaller fish with the drop shot, then you can actually, this is probably a safe actually. This is probably a safe. You can stop it at like 15 or 20 meters and just let it and just do perking from there instead of taking it all the way to the bottom. And that can work really well. Is this a saithe or a cod? Oh, even better, it's a pollock. I love it. 71.9. What a great fish to catch during happy hour. Man, what a start. And that was the Lurker 103. I love to see that. That is awesome. So, like, if we wanted to stop it right here and then just do some perking, if we don't get a fish, we could reel it in a little bit and then do some more perking. You'll often find a lot of the small fish sort of fishing this way. And it's a good way to, frankly, make a lot of silver because the small fish really add up. This is not the best example, but typically you can get them almost immediately, like really quick bite rate. Honestly, normally it's really fast. But anyway, and it often fills cafe orders. There's all kinds of reasons you're not doing damage on your gear. So maybe it's the weather. I don't really know. Maybe the small fish aren't as active at the moment. We just caught a saithe when we normally would see like a, sardine or something right there. But we can turn this saithe into some bait if we want to, since it's so small. So we're going to let this go all the way to the bottom, if it makes it to the bottom. So instead of stopping it, we'll let it go to the bottom. Notice that we are using 60 kilo leader, although it's pretty worn. So that's how much strength we have, at least on this setup currently. All right, so it made it to the bottom. We immediately get a fish on. Yeah, we'll see one more fish on this setup. I want to mostly spend time on our star of the show, the new Taiga C, the anniversary edition, which, in case I haven't made it clear, this reel that we're using right now, there's a little whiting. This reel that we're using now, the Taiga C30, this is the reel that we're about to be using, except the new one has that 7th anniversary skin on it. And it also has a second gear ratio, where the normal one only has the single gear ratio, as you see here, the 3-3-1. So let's catch one more fish on this, and then we'll take a look at the Regal, which is actually my favorite, or has been my favorite reel to use out here. Now that might change now that we have this new Taiga C, I don't know. But I've loved fishing with the Regal. Surely I've caught twice as many fish on the Regal as all of my other reels combined that I've used out here in Norway. I just use the Regal all the time. That may not be true because of how long until I discovered the Regal, but since I discovered the Regal, it is primarily what I've used. By the way, this setup is working really well. That Lurker 103 is catching some fish, but let's go ahead and switch to the Regal setup. Now you'll notice that this has a jigging setup instead of the perking. We're also using the Sensei rod, which this is an amazing rod. It's a little more expensive than the Ocean Queen. So the one we were just using was the Ocean Queen, and that's why I was talking about, this was kind of my first setup when I first got to Norway. Ocean Queen, Taiga C, or Ocean Queen, Venga, or if all you have is Ocean Queen HSV, you could make that work. You just got to really lean into the smaller fish as best you can. But this is, at this point, the Poseidon Sensei, and this with the Regal, again, this combination, I have just fished with this so much. And on this, we're using the Heaven Creek Maggot 404 and the 405 on the top of the drop. I mean, you go back and forth. Sometimes frankly, it's better to use the handmade foam rubber fish, but sometimes these maggots do well. We're also using a tiny fish 406 and a real worm 7003. Again, I'm just trying to show you a big variety of things. This setup to me would be really good at night. You're going to hit some really nice eel pouts, flatfish like, you know, saith, I mean not saith, a place, those kinds of flatfish, you're just gonna, especially in the overnight hours, I think that's gonna give you your best chance to see some of those fish, and maybe even like a trophy eel pout or something. So I've seen this setup very similar to this, or exactly this, posted multiple times in VK lately because of how well it's doing, I think especially at night. All right, first fish is a saith. So again, if we're still out here when it hits overnight hours, I may even switch back to this one. But let's get a couple fish on the Regal before we break out the 7th anniversary Taiga C. So control space switches the gear ratio. Like this fish is just strong enough that if we hit control space and go down, gear down to the lower ratio, we are able to reel because we're getting, it's pulling in less line per rotation. So it sort of slows down, where up on normal rotation, where the fish is almost too strong for us to be able. So having that second gear ratio really does help. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense, but it does help with some of the fish we're catching here. Boy, that's another nice saith. Man, I mean, you know, you're not always like dying to catch saith, but when they're that size, that is good. A good time, good silver, good XP, and just a lot of fun. And you know that you're just sort of like flirting with a trophy when you're getting them that size consistently. All right, so this did not make it to the bottom. I'm going to say it's another saith, but we'll see. It is another saith. If the saith would leave it alone, we might even catch an eel pout right now. I mean, who knows? This is probably an eel pout. I think I just called this eel pout into existence. I'm just feeling it right now. All right, let's go back on that one. That was not. The other fish that you're likely to pull off the bottom, I guess we should mention the sculpin. All right, let's get one more on this setup, and then we'll switch to the star of the show. Nice haddock. I'm telling you, this setup, these maggots are really working good right now. We'll have to remember that. That might be worth actually spending more time with. All right, here she is, the Taiga C anniversary. In case you're wondering, we do have some nice Stab extra solid oil on there to protect it as long as we can. We're fishing with a Lurker 108 plastic rattle blue fire tubes, whatever color that is, rose or whatever, small fillet safe We have maggot, foam rubber fish, and quicker 4.507. So we'll probably catch a good bit of saithe here, but who knows what else. So you notice that because this is the 7th anniversary, we are able to switch between the two gear ratios like we were with the Regal, which just absolutely makes it awesome. It's just so cool to me. That's the one thing that has always like held me back from wanting to use the Taiga C more on Norway, and it doesn't hold us back any longer, does it? Have we drifted? Yeah, we're getting a little... This is also a very amazing, fairly expensive rod. I did purchase this rod, I don't know, some months ago, and I've mostly used the Regal on it, but now that we have this will probably become the primary reel on this rod. So this is the Poseidon Mega Perk, and the thing that's so cool about this rod is it has plus 7% to marine fishing skill and plus 2% to the use of pilker rig. So it's expensive, but it's got some really cool bonuses on there, and it fits such a fancy reel quite nice. And this isn't a big deal, or it doesn't have to be. It ends up being important to me just because I enjoy it. This is something I get some like fun out of, is being able to basically have a setup that I don't ever have to necessarily take apart. So what I'm talking about, this is sort of like a luxury. When you get to the point where you're able to do this, this feels like very much like a luxury, but it's fun. So the example that's easiest to describe this is with my carp setups, right? So once I had the carp setups I use, which is currently and has been for a long time, is 2 Avalons and a Sage. So once I got to the point where I could have those set up with my Megara carp spinning reels on there and really never have to take them apart, anytime I went to amber or bear for that matter and I was going to fish for carp, I knew that was the setup that I wanted to use, and they were already just waiting for me. I didn't have to put them together, I didn't have to do anything. They were just ready to go. Again, it's sort of like a luxury, because before you get to that point, understandably so, you're often using the same reel for multiple purposes, right? Like you might have a caliber HSV that you're trolling Archie, and that you're trolling Volkov, and that you're using to fish for carpet bear, and that you're, you know, so it's like multiple, so you're constantly switching around your rods and reels. So I had already thought about purchasing a second Regal, because that's how much I've enjoyed the Regal. But now that I have this, I frankly will probably not get a second Regal, at least not for now, because now I can keep these 2 rods set up. This one for perking, because it does have the bonus to pilker rigs. And then the Sensei, for the most part, what I'll use is for jigging. That'll be my nice jigging rig with the Regal. Or I might, you know, vice versa. I could put the Regal on this one and put the Taiga C anniversary on the Sensei. I'll have to just sort of think about and pay attention to, am I more likely to get a larger fish on this setup, or am I more likely to get a larger fish on the jigging setup? Am I more likely to get a larger fish during the day, or am I more likely to get a larger fish overnight? And I don't know if there is a clean answer to that, but that's kind of the thing I'll be thinking about. So if you notice the Sensei, its load capacity is 63. So I would never go over 60. In fact, I'm going to have to watch the Sensei. If I start getting too much blank damage, I might have to go under 60 load capacity, because I don't want to break that. What did that come in on? The Maggot 4006. That's cool. I don't want to break that rod, where the Mega Perk actually has a load capacity of 88. So 60 is not ever going to be in danger of snapping the 88 kilo load capacity, if that makes sense. All right, so we're catching some fish using the new reel, and it's fun. Obviously, it's just cool to have that second gear ratio on the Taiga C. It's just this like weird, it's almost like the Taiga C and the Regal 2 became one to celebrate the 7th anniversary or something. But anyway, it's pretty sweet. Very thankful that I get the opportunity to use it. I actually had this in my inventory. There's a place. I had this in my inventory during my most recent stream. And so I kept worrying. I mean, I knew we weren't going to be fishing at Norway, but I just kept worrying, like, oh crap, what if somebody sees it? I wanted the video to come out to be the first, like, you know, featuring the reel. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it, and I just may not have. People probably have been talking about it, but I know a lot of people, and rightly so. I mean, this is fine. Don't want to, you know, spend the money that it takes, real money that it takes to get these anniversary reels, the skins. But some people do, and so when I saw this one, I didn't want to bring it up on stream, and I didn't want people to see it because I knew I was going to try to make this video. But I was curious if other people had noticed, because a lot of people, I think, share my enjoyment of this type of fishing on Norway. And by this type of fishing, I mean just like sitting on 34, 41 bank, sometimes the 30 even, with these smaller setups, and just having such an active bite rate, making really good silver. It's a lot of XP as well. And it's just fun. It's just really fun, I think. So as I've said, I've used the Regal so much. It'll take me a lot of time. I'll have to use this a lot to start to really like pick up on how it works and test it out with larger fish, and use the Regal, use this, switch back and forth. I mean, the Regal's almost become muscle memory for me at this point. There's another flat fish. This is a dab, not even a marker, but still worth 2600 XP. So you know, I mean, it's hard to make a comparison, just like this is my second time using it when I've used the Regal for so many hours, but I do look forward to using it. I'll definitely use it on stream once we settle back in and get some time in Norway. It's funny, I feel like right now there's just so much going on with the copper being brand new still, and all of the challenges, that in reality it'll probably be a little while before I spend too much time out here, although I will come every once in a while just because it's such good silver. But once things settle in a bit and we, you know, are just in the mood for doing a bunch of sea fishing, I will be really excited to be able to break this out some more during streams and put it through some tests. I hate to say it, but the Regal has done best in terms of the fishing we've done during this session, because that jigging rig just seemed to be rocking and rolling. Although the best overall fish we've caught, I still think is that very first good fish we caught, which was that pollock. And that was on the Taiga, old school Taiga C. Goodness. On the lurker, red lurker, I think. All right, I'm going to lock it up. Put it in lower gear ratio. All right, now we got it coming. It's a haddock. We've had nice haddock, nice pollock, really nice saithe as well. All right. Nice Sichel EWD. We'll get one or two more fish here, and then we will not wrap it up yet. Close, but actually I will switch back to the, since it's getting to be nighttime, I'll switch back to the jigging rig and just see if we get a couple more fish on that, see how it does. Ooh, it's an unusual one. All right, one more fish. One more fish on the 7th anniversary conventional reel. There she is. I was hoping we'd get an eel pout after I talked about him. The Vivies coming out. All right, so we've switched back to our jigging rig with the Heaven Creek maggots, the tiny fish, and the real worm. I just thought we would cast this once or twice more since it's evening. And I tend to like this type of jigging rig at night. We've got the perking bug where graphically it looks like we're pulling up on the rod, kind of weird. Ooh, a safe. Still doing it, right? Yeah, it's so weird. Usually the only way to fix it is to just like switch reels around. For some reason that tends to work. Let me see. Yeah, it's working now. I don't know. It's so weird. All right, anyway, let's try to get one more fish here. At least one more. See what it is. This could be a small eel pout or a sculpin. It is an eel pout. Gotta love it. Yeah, I don't know. I like the way this rod looks on this reel as well. That may be what ends up deciding it for me on which reel I put on the Mega Perk versus the Sensei, is just aesthetically which one looks better, because both of these reels are going to be amazing. The Regal 20 is still going to be amazing, and this Taiga C anniversary is amazing. So you've got a little more strength on the Regal, but you've got a heavier mech weight on the Taiga C. Oh, nice place. All right, let's get one more fish and then we'll call it. A whiting. I love it. Ooh, that's a big one too. 525 gram. That's like knocking on trophy. We gotta try one more, I guess. Boy, 525. That's a big one. I think that was another eel pout. They're just so calm and cool. Like and of course they're not that big. I mean, 600 grams on this kind of setup, it hardly feels like anything, and they don't pull very hard, probably because they're so small. I think if somebody really wanted to trophy eel pout, this type of setup right now just feels like it's gonna work. That was the Real Worm 7003. Dang it. By the way, unusual amount of FGAs these days on the Norwegian Sea. It's like it's now happened to me using different setups in 3 different trips in a row out here. So I don't think I'm doing anything different than before. And there's a difference in the fish falling off like it just did versus true FGA where it says fish got away in chat, or in your personal chat at least. But I'm talking about the true FGAs where you have a fish on and then all of a sudden it's gone and says fish got away. I don't know what's going on. There's just more of them in my experience. Be interesting to see if there's any if other people are feeling the same way. All right, there's a sculpin. Okay, let me get us back to shore just so we can real quick see what some of these fish are worth. I'll be right back. Boy, I really hope. Oh, that's so weird. Now it's not doing it again. Now it's not showing me the time move. I don't know what's going on. Oh well, I really hope this recording works this time. We did get 4 saith at the appropriate size, so we'll take 153 silver for that part of the cafe, and that's going to be all we did. So 153 plus another 341. Yeah, as usual, really good silver, and that was just about 36 minutes of fishing, or even less maybe. There's that pollock, so good. All right, so another fun fishing trip, and once again, thanks to RF4 for allowing me to use this reel for a bit, and for a very fun game. It's been knocking it out of the park lately, in my opinion. All right, tight lines, everybody. I'll see you next time. Should have a stream, well, by the time you're watching this, maybe at the same time that you're watching this, or at some point during this day. So I will see you later on. Tight lines.